we've been hearing this term quiet quitting over and over again, which speaks to this idea of employees deciding not to go above and beyond their listed responsibilities. Why do you think that is?
So, Emily, great to be with you. I'm here at the Masters of Scale conference that Reid Hoffman and the White Watt team are organizing. And quiet quitting, the great resignation, the great breakup for women have been big themes of the conference. And what is interesting about quiet quitting is that it's really a rejection of the hustle culture that we've all been bemoaning. But also, it's like a false choice between hustle culture and burnout and giving up on having an engaged job that you love and brings you joy and a sense of purpose and meaning. And so a lot of the conversation here has been about how to recognize that we don't have to buy this false choice, that we can be engaged in our jobs and set boundaries. And also, if you look at the great breakup that the McKinsey Lean In report talked about, with many more women leaving the workplace because of burnout compared to men, 43% versus 31%, you see that burnout is at the top of the conversation everywhere.
Well, and I wonder, do women and underrepresented minorities have the luxury of quiet quitting? Or is this something that more men have the luxury of doing?
Well, it's not just quiet quitting for women. They're just leaving the workspace in unprecedented numbers. And that's all the bad news, Emily. The good news is that these conversations are no longer just the province of the HR departments. Satya Nadella spoke here yesterday morning, and he spoke not just of the digital revolution and AI breakthroughs, but about the need for leaders to acquire soft skills, and not just to demand that their employees return to the office, but to become like event organizers, he called it, where he gives them a reason to return to the office, where leaders acknowledge that people come for people and not because of mandated policy. Also, he talked about the productivity paradox. 85% of leaders think they're doing enough to prevent burnout and promote well-being, and 85% of employees feel burned out. And while a lot of their managers think they're slacking off. So there is turmoil in the workplace. But frankly, Emily, a lot of these things have been happening before the pandemic, and now everything has come to the surface, and we have an opportunity to redefine how we work and live.
I have to ask you about this Twitter news, since it just broke, and I can imagine a few people have probably been quiet quitting at Twitter over the last few months. Now we're learning from this Washington Post report that Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of the workforce. Elon Musk, has also come out in favor of in-person work. But, what's your reaction to this?
Well, first of all, there's been so many rumors about this Twitter deal. We don't know what is true and what isn't. And also, I'm wondering how much Elon Musk is regretting this impulsive decision to buy Twitter. It's been a huge distraction. It's definitely affected the Tesla stock because shareholders obviously don't like the CEO being so distracted by a major deal that's in the news every day.
As someone who, has played such a prominent role in media, do you like the idea of Elon Musk owning Twitter? Or what concerns you about the idea of Elon Musk owning Twitter? What do you think is going to change? I mean, this could really dramatically change how a lot of us get our news.
Well, if you look at the power of TikTok and the incredible popularity of TikTok, and the CEO of TikTok is here and talking to him, it's clear that there is real moderation there. And they have 12 rules around moderation, including preventing and and rejecting violence and pornography. A lot of it is moderated through AI, but there is also human moderation. So the idea that you can have a free-for-all in the name of quote-unquote free speech is definitely troubling because there's so much misrepresentation, and it's impossible to have a functioning democracy without moderation.
So clearly, the Twitter and Elon Musk case is a unique story in itself. We are going through what could be a very prolonged economic downturn. There are all of these rapidly shifting workplace trends, as you discuss. What's your advice to employers right now? What's your advice to businesses about how they should rethink their workplace policies and what they expect of their employees?
Well, the priority, Emily, has to be to recognize that investing in the well-being and mental health of their employees is not a warm and fuzzy HR benefit. It's a business strategy. It's a necessity in order to prevent attrition, improve productivity, and actually reduce healthcare costs. I mean, you saw the leaked document 2 days ago that Amazon is losing $8 billion a year because of attrition. So the connection between well-being and mental health and attrition is very clear. We have a lot of data here. So leaders are recognizing more and more that this is the moment to redefine the importance of human capital, invest in the well-being of their employees, in the workflow, embed it in the workflow. It can't just be a mental health day here or a yoga studio there. It has to be embedded in the daily work so that people can actually take these little breaks that prevent stress from becoming cumulative and from becoming burnout.
And there's been so much focus on where we're working and how that impacts productivity. But now there's new research that shows maybe it's when we're working that has a greater impact on productivity. What do you think?
Yes, and all the new research that shows that what actually leads to more productivity is not having to be at work 9 to 5, but being able to work when it's more convenient for you if you have children to take to school, elderly parents to take care of. So there is no way, Emily, that we are going to go to a normal 9 to 5, 5-day in the office reality. But there is a lot we have to do to rebuild the social capital that we are losing when we are working remote. Being together has a big impact on creativity, on relationships, on a sense of meaning and purpose about work. But it has to be organized. It can't just happen. And that's why so many people came here for this conference. I mean, we could have done it on Zoom, but there is something special about being together.
How concerned are you about the economic downturn in general? We just had Ben Lair on the show yesterday, and I know you go obviously way back with Lair Hippo. He painted a pretty dark picture of how bad it's going to get for startups, for founders, for people running businesses, and that this could last, for a pretty long time.
Well, Emily, that's really what is troubling, that we don't know how it ends and when it ends. Mm-hmm. But that's why investing in employees' mental health is more important than ever, because already Karen Lynch, the CEO of CVS Health, has called the mental health crisis the second pandemic. And we're not done with it by any means at all. So every business now is, in a way, a healthcare business. They have responsibility for the health and well-being of their employees, which is only going to be made worse by the stress and the fear and the anxiety about the economic downturn.